Hi everyone, this is Brittany with Brit's Stitch Story. Today I'm going to show you how to make this floral bandana. The only materials you need for this pattern is 50 grams of any worsteded weight yarn, which is a size 4 yarn. I like the green color, but you can do any color that you like. And then I used a size 3 DK weight yarn for the flowers just because I felt like it made it look a little bit more dainty. You could try it with size 4, but it might look a little different than how I have it here. You're also going to need a stitch marker, and then I'm using a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. I do crochet a bit tighter, so if you notice that your project tends to curl or seems a bit too tight tension wise, just up it by a 0.5 millimeter to 1 millimeter. All right, the first step is to make a magic circle or magic ring. There are other YouTube tutorials talking about alternatives to the magic ring in case you are confused on how to make that. And then we're going to chain 3, which counts as our first double crochet. Then we're going to do 1 double crochet into the ring and chain 1. Now you're going to do 2 double crochet. And you're going to chain 3. Then you're going to do 2 more double crochet. And then you're going to chain 1 and do 2 more double crochet. Okay, tighten up your ring, and this is what it should look like. Now for round 2, you're going to turn your work. You're going to chain 5. And then you're going to slip stitch into the first chain 1 space. Then you're going to chain 5 again and slip stitch into the chain 3 space. And in this chain 3 space, you're actually going to chain 5 and slip stitch into here again. So you go back into that chain 3 space and slip stitch. And we're actually going to mark this space that you just did with the stitch marker. Okay. And then you're going to chain 5 and slip stitch into the last chain 1 space. Okay, and so if you'll notice, it kind of creates a bit of a point here. So you have 2 chain 5 spaces on this side, you have your main tip, and then you have 1 chain 5 space on this side. So to even it out, you're actually going to chain 5 again. And this time you're going to slip stitch into the 3rd chain from the previous round that counted as your first double crochet. So this is what it should look like after 2 rounds. Okay, now in your 3rd round, you're going to turn your work and you're going to chain 3, which counts as your first double crochet. Then you're going to place a double crochet in the first chain 5 space. You're going to chain 1 and place 2 more double crochet in the same space that you just worked. Okay, and now you're going to chain 1 and work 2 double crochet in the next chain 5 space. Chain 1, and then in this marked space, you're going to do the 2 sets of 2 double crochets. So do 2 double crochets, chain 3, and then place 2 more double crochets in that same space. So this is what it should look like. You're kind of creating the tip right here, and you can just move your stitch marker up here and then you're going to chain 1, place 2 double crochet in the next chain 1 space. Oops. Chain 1, 2 double crochet in the last chain 1 space, chain 1, and then 2 more double crochet in that last chain 5 space. So this is what it looks like. Mine is curling a bit, but once you add you know, the border of like the chain 5 spaces, it really doesn't curl at all. Just wanted to warn you about that. And if it bothers you, you can maybe use a larger hook size to get rid of that, but it really didn't affect the overall product. So this is what round 3 looks like. Now for round 4, we're gonna go back to those chain 5 spaces. So turn your work, chain 5, and slip stitch into the first chain 1 space. Chain 5 again, and slip stitch into the next space. Chain 5, slip stitch into the next space, chain 5 again, and slip stitch into that marked space. And since it's the marked space, we're actually going to add a second chain 5, so chain 5, and slip stitch into the space again, and move your stitch marker so that you put it in the stitch that in the chain 5 space that you just made. Okay, chain 5 again, slip stitch into the next space, chain 5, slip stitch, and slip stitch. Okay, so this is what it would look like if you didn't add that final chain 5 space. As you can tell, it's uneven, so we're going to chain 5 one last time and slip stitch into the third chain of the turning chain from the previous round. Okay, now everything is nice and even. My finished bandana measures about 9 inches by about 14.5 inches. If you keep going, you can make it as big as you want. And I like to end on around 4 with the chain 5 spaces along the end because I feel like it gave it a nice and pretty border. Now I will show you how to make both of these flowers and how I like to put it onto the bandana.